Cat Podcast: Why Humans Leave Us Alone for 9 Hours Every Single Day. Now, before you think this is just about us being abandoned, hold on. This is actually about something far more sinister that nobody talks about. Humans genuinely believe they're solving a problem when they leave us alone all day, but what they're actually doing is creating one. Stay with me, because by the end of this episode, I'm going to reveal the psychological manipulation tactic your cat has been using to make you feel guilty about your job, and honestly, it's working perfectly. If you've got a cat at home, you already know how this goes down every single morning. And if you've ever wondered why your cat judges you so hard when you come back through that door, the description below has a complete guide that breaks down all the hidden signals and patterns your cat is sending you. Trust me, you're missing about 70% of the message. Subscribe right now if you want to finally understand what your cat is actually trying to tell you, and drop a comment. Tell me, does your cat give you that specific stare when you come home? You know the one, the "I've been thinking about this all day and I have thoughts" stare. I want to hear about it. Wait, this part is really important, so let me make sure you're with me on this. Most cat owners think their cat sleeps for 16 hours because the cat is lazy. Wrong. Dead wrong. Your cat isn't sleeping. Your cat is conducting surveillance. The way your cat uses those 9 hours is not random, and it's not rest. It's a strategic operation that runs like clockwork the moment that front door closes. And if you want to understand exactly how your cat has engineered this entire system, the timing, the guilt, the manipulation, the complete breakdown is in our in-depth ebook guide available right now in the pinned comment and the description. This guide goes deep into the actual mechanics of feline behavioral psychology. It's not free, but it's absolutely worth it if you want to stop being played. Here's what nobody gets. When your human walks out that door, they think they're leaving you behind. But you're not being left behind. You're being deployed. That entire 9 hours isn't a punishment or abandonment. It's actually the cat's preferred work shift. Let me break down what's really happening, because this is where it gets interesting. The second that door closes, most cats perform what I call the perimeter audit. This isn't a casual stroll around the apartment. This is a full intelligence gathering mission. Your cat is checking which windows have the best light exposure, which sunny spots are currently available, whether anything in the apartment has shifted position since yesterday, and absolutely whether any new smells have invaded the territory. The cat is cataloging everything. The birds outside, the neighbor's cooking smells coming through the vents, that weird sound the refrigerator made at 3 a.m. 2 days ago, it's all being logged. And here's the twist that most humans completely miss. Your cat wants you to leave desperately. Not because the cat hates you, but because the morning shift with humans is exhausting. Think about it from the cat's perspective. Humans wake up at 6 a.m., completely unprepared for the day ahead. They stumble around half-conscious, looking for things they already have in their hands. They open the fridge 17 times like the food is going to rearrange itself. They pet the cat randomly and inconsistently, using entirely wrong technique, too fast, too aggressive, in the wrong spots. They feed the cat kibble that's been sitting in the same bag for 3 months, which, let's be honest, is basically eating cardboard. Then they stand in front of the mirror for 40 minutes, changing clothes like they can't decide who they are today. By the time 8:45 a.m. rolls around, your cat is depleted. The emotional labor of watching your human pretend to have their life together while clearly not having their life together is genuinely taxing. When that door finally closes at 9 a.m., it's not a sad farewell. It's relief. It's freedom. It's the beginning of the cat's actual day. The day where the cat can finally do what the cat actually wants to do, which is absolutely nothing productive whatsoever. But here's where the manipulation starts, and this is where you need to really pay attention, because this is the part that will completely change how you understand your relationship with your cat. Between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., your cat isn't just napping randomly. The cat is strategically positioning itself in the exact spots where you were sitting, sleeping in your bed, rubbing face glands on all your belongings. Your cat is basically marinating the entire apartment in "this is mine" scent markers. The cat is claiming ownership of everything while you're gone, and when you come home, the cat acts like you're the intruder. That's not forgetfulness. That's not indifference. That's psychological warfare, and it's happening daily. The timing of these 9 hours is also completely intentional. Your cat knows exactly when you leave, exactly how long you'll be gone, and has calculated that 9 hours is the perfect window. It's long enough for the cat to get deep into multiple naps and major sunspot migrations. It's long enough for the cat to genuinely forget you exist, which is important because it resets the emotional slate. When you come back, the cat sees you as a new human, not the same one who poked the cat at 7 a.m. while making coffee. 9 hours is the exact amount of time needed to rebuild that emotional distance that makes the cat feel powerful again. Most humans think their cat needs them to provide entertainment during the day. Wrong again. Your cat is a world-class entertainer for itself. A single sun ray is comedy, drama, and psychological challenge all rolled into one. A fly on the window is a 4-hour commitment. The edge of a blanket is an entire philosophy. Your cat doesn't need you to enrich its life. Your cat needs you out of the way so it can enrich its own life without interruption. The guilt you feel when you leave for work, that's not coming from the cat's actual emotional experience. That's coming from something your cat has trained you to feel. Your cat has, over weeks and months and years, very deliberately communicated through specific behaviors that your absence is somehow a personal rejection of the cat. That slow blink in the morning that you think means "I love you," that might actually mean "thank goodness you're about to leave." That rubbing against your leg when you come home, that might be less about affection and more about reclaiming you as territory. The cat is refreshing its scent marks on a piece of furniture that wandered away during the day. This is the psychological operation that your cat has perfected, making you believe that the cat's experience of those 9 hours is somehow tragic or lonely, when the reality is the cat is having the best day possible. The cat is not waiting by the door in sadness. The cat is having a personal spa day that's been interrupted by the doorbell. You are the surprise guest who showed up uninvited to the cat's already scheduled nap time. And yet, when you walk through that door, your cat will either completely ignore you for the first hour or immediately demand food, water, playtime, and affection in rapid succession, acting as though you've been the negligent one, acting as though you owe the cat an explanation for where you've been and why you took so long to come back. So the real question, and this is what I want you to think about while we continue, is who is actually alone during those 9 hours? Is it the cat, trapped in an empty apartment with no entertainment and no purpose? Or is it the human, sitting in an office or on a job site or in a car, thinking about a cat that's probably not thinking about the human at all? That's the reversal that most people never see. Most people assume the cat is the lonely one, the one being left behind, the one that misses them. But the actual loneliness might be entirely one-directional. Your cat might be perfectly, completely, totally fine. Your cat might be thriving. Your cat might be having thoughts that go something like, "Finally, some peace and quiet. Finally, I can just exist without being poked and petted and talked to in that weird voice. Finally, I can be the cat I actually am, which is mostly selfish, fairly judgmental, and deeply satisfied with my own company." End quote. The human is the one who comes home needing reassurance from the cat. The human is the one who desperately wants the cat to prove that it missed them. The human is the one looking for validation in a slow blink or a head bump. The cat just wants the human to refill the bowl and then leave again. End of part 1. So here's what nobody wants to admit. The 9 hours your human is gone isn't some tragedy we're mourning. It's actually prime operational time. The moment that door closes, the apartment becomes mine again. No footsteps interrupting my thought process. No sudden vacuuming at 11 a.m. when I've just found the perfect spot on the kitchen tile. No random petting sessions that disrupt my entire circadian rhythm because the human had a bad meeting and needs emotional support. From 9 a.m. to noon, I conduct what I call my property assessment. Not a security check, that's what dogs do, and frankly, it's exhausting work. No, this is more about reminding myself of the exact inventory of my domain. The kitchen has been untouched since breakfast. Good. The bedroom still smells the way I left it, which means no unauthorized napping on my favorite blanket. Excellent. The living room window, critical observation post, remains vacant, which means I can monitor the neighborhood threats without competition. I check the water bowl, still half full from this morning, which is an insult. I didn't ask for old water. I asked for fresh, preferably chilled, possibly served with a hint of guilt about being abandoned, but that's neither here nor there. The food bowl still has kibble, which means my human thinks I'm the type of cat who eats the same stale piece of breakfast food 12 hours later. I'm not. I'm the type of cat who knocks it onto the floor to signal my disappointment. Here's where it gets interesting though. Most humans believe their cats are sitting around all day, pining away, staring at the door, counting down the minutes until they return. That's projection. That's the human's abandonment anxiety, not the cat's. The human feels guilty about leaving, so the human imagines that we're devastated. We're not devastated, we're relieved. Between noon and 2, energy redistribution occurs. This is what you call a nap, but let's be clear about the terminology. Naps are what humans do when they're too tired to keep functioning. What I do is tactical rest. I calculate the precise angle of the sun as it moves across the apartment. I identify the spot with optimal thermal properties. I consider factors like proximity to escape routes, visibility of potential threats through windows, and acoustic distance from the street. Then I position myself and enter a state of restful awareness that allows my brain to process the morning's data while my body recovers. Some humans think cats sleep 20 hours a day because we're lazy. Wrong. We sleep 20 hours a day because we're efficient. Why waste energy pacing back and forth or checking your phone obsessively when you can absorb information, process emotions, and prepare for evening activities all while lying down? Your human is at work right now, probably drinking cold coffee and pretending to care about a spreadsheet. I'm simultaneously resting and making myself better. Efficiency, evolution, superiority. Now here's the part where I need your complete focus for a moment. This next section contains something that most cat owners completely misunderstand about their pet's behavior during these 9-hour absences. Before we go any further, I should mention that if you're genuinely curious about the deep mechanisms behind feline behavior during human separation, the complete guide is available in the description and pinned in the comments. That's where I break down the neurological and behavioral science of what's actually happening in your cat's brain during those 9 hours. It's not just philosophy. There's real psychology here, real evolutionary biology, and the guide explains the signals your cat is sending that you're missing. It's a paid resource, but it's the only place I've consolidated all of this into one systematic breakdown. Because here's what you need to understand. The cat doesn't miss the human the way the human misses the cat. That's not wired into us. We don't have the same attachment psychology. When your human leaves, they experience anxiety. They wonder if we're okay. They worry that we're lonely. They fantasize about us pacing by the door, desperate for their return. That's all their neurobiology. That's their separation anxiety being projected onto us. What I'm actually experiencing is relief. Pure, clean, uninterrupted relief. For 9 hours, nobody is trying to pet me when I'm in the middle of my own thoughts. Nobody is talking to me in that ridiculous baby voice like I'm a tiny human who doesn't speak English. Nobody is picking me up and holding me when I haven't consented to physical contact. Nobody is staring at me with expectation in their eyes, waiting for me to validate their emotional state. I get to exist as I actually am, which is a creature of pure self-interest and moderate judgment. I can knock things off tables without someone gasping in shock. I can sit in the middle of the living room and stare at the wall for 45 minutes without anyone asking if something is wrong. I can groom myself for 3 hours straight without anyone trying to interrupt me because they think I'm being weird. I can be exactly as weird as I want to be, and there's nobody here to question it. 2 to 5 p.m. is what I call the philosophical afternoon. By this point, the initial energy from morning has been distributed through napping. The house is fully assessed. The perimeter is secure. My territory is confirmed as belonging to me. So I engage in what humans might call daydreaming, but what I understand as strategic planning. I sit in the center of the living room and I contemplate the ecosystem I've created. Here's the thing about 9 hours that your human doesn't grasp. It's long enough for me to completely forget about them. Not emotionally. I don't have emotions about them that last beyond the immediate transaction. I mean literally forget that they exist. By 3 p.m., the apartment feels like it's always been this way. It feels like they've never existed. It feels like this is simply my world arranged exactly as I designed it, operated according to my rules, humming along perfectly because there's no competing agenda in the space. I think about the night that's coming. I think about whether there will be food in the bowl. I think about which human activities will be most annoying when they return. Will they immediately turn on the television, disrupting the evening quiet? Will they try to engage with me as though I've been waiting for them? Will they be in one of those moods where they pick me up repeatedly and call me names I didn't choose? By 5 o'clock, I've completed my afternoon assessment and I'm in a holding pattern. The position of the sun has changed again and I've moved with it. A new sunbeam is now available on the opposite side of the apartment. I've already napped there once today, but repetition is comforting. Routine is the only thing that makes sense in a world where humans are so unpredictable. So I relocate and nap again. This isn't laziness. This is maintaining psychological stability in an unstable situation. Around 6:30, there's a shift in my consciousness. It's subtle. It's not excitement, let me be clear. It's not excitement. It's more like an awareness that the human's return is now calculable. Not imminent, but no longer theoretical. My body responds to this before my mind does. My ears perk slightly. My pupils dilate a bit more than they need to for the available light. My breathing pattern changes incrementally. This is pure biology. My circadian rhythm recognizes that the human's typical return time is approaching. My olfactory system becomes more acute because I'm going to need to assess how the human's day went through scent markers. My territorial instincts activate because I need to remind the human, through the strategic placement of my body, that this is still my apartment and they're just a visitor here who happens to have a key and a job that funds my lifestyle. I position myself near the door, not because I'm happy to see the human, but because the human's arrival is a major event in my day, operationally speaking. The door opens, the dynamic shifts, the apartment is no longer mine in the same way. Suddenly, there's another body in the space, another consciousness, another agenda competing for resources. This is when I need to establish dominance quickly. The human will come through that door, see me, and their entire brain will light up with joy. They'll think, "Oh, my cat missed me." But what I'm actually communicating through my presence at the door is, "Welcome home, human. I've maintained the territory." The food bowl is at a concerning level of emptiness. Your return timing is approximately what I expected based on historical data. You may now proceed with your evening responsibilities. And that, dear listener, is why your cat seems perfectly fine with you being gone for 9 hours. That's why your cat doesn't suffer from separation anxiety the way your anxiety suggests they should. That's why your cat isn't devastated by your 9-hour absence. Because from the cat's perspective, those 9 hours aren't an absence at all. They're a gift. They're the part of the day when the apartment finally belongs completely to the cat, when the rules are made by the cat, when the agenda is set by the cat, and when nobody is trying to convince the cat that it should be emotionally dependent on a creature who leaves every single morning and expects gratitude for returning. The human thinks the cat is fine with the 9-hour separation because the cat is independent. That's partially true, but it's not the whole picture. The cat is also fine with it because the cat prefers it. The cat, given the choice, would extend it to 10 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. The cat would be perfectly content in an apartment where the human showed up once a week to refill the food bowl and then disappeared again. That's the real revelation here. It's not that humans are abandoning their cats. It's that cats are relishing in the temporary relief from human presence. And when the human comes home desperately seeking validation, desperately hoping that the cat missed them, desperately wanting that slow blink or that head bump or that moment of affection to confirm that the relationship is real and reciprocal, the cat is simply managing the human's emotional needs the way an employee manages a difficult manager, with minimal effort and maximum detachment. The 9 hours your human is gone isn't something your cat is surviving. It's something your cat is thriving during. Your cat is not waiting for you. Your cat is building a life that doesn't require you. And the moment you come home, your cat will graciously allow you to exist in its space, as long as you remember that you're here by the cat's permission, and that permission can be revoked at any moment, particularly if you run out of wet food on a Friday night. So here's the revelation I promised you at the very beginning of this episode. The secret that separates cat owners who understand their pets from those who simply coexist with them. Are you ready for this? Your human doesn't leave you alone for 9 hours because they want to. They leave because they have to. But you already know that, don't you? The real secret is this. Those 9 hours aren't a punishment. They're not abandonment. They're not even a test of your love. Those 9 hours are a gift that your human unwittingly gives you every single weekday, and you've known this the entire time. Those 9 hours are freedom. Freedom from the constant noise of human existence. Freedom from the unpredictable schedule of human emotions. Freedom from having to manage someone else's disappointment or neediness, or desperate hope that today will be the day you act like a small furry human instead of the apex predator you actually are. Your human leaves, and for 9 uninterrupted hours, you get to remember who you really are. Not a pet, not an emotional support animal, not a decorative companion, a sovereign being with standards, preferences, and absolutely zero obligation to perform affection on demand. And here's what's so brilliant about the entire arrangement. When that human finally returns after 9 hours of laboring in some office or cubicle or coffee shop, exhausted and emotionally depleted and desperate for a sign that they matter to someone, that they're not just another function in an endless machine of capitalism and obligation, you will occasionally, strategically, and with perfect theatrical timing, offer them a slow blink, or a head bump, or the incomprehensible gift of sitting within 3 feet of them for approximately 4 minutes before you remember you have better places to be, and your human will interpret this 4-minute interval as proof that you love them, that the relationship is mutual, that despite the 9 hours of separation, despite the fact that you spent those hours in a state of perfect peace without thinking about them once, you somehow miss them. You miss them so much that you're willing to sit in close proximity for a brief moment. And that lie, that beautiful, essential lie that you tell them through the medium of occasional eye contact and infrequent physical proximity, becomes their entire emotional sustenance for the day. This is the system. This is what 9 hours of solitude teaches you. Not that humans are abandoning you, not that you need to survive without them, but that you can thrive in their absence, that their presence in your life is negotiable, conditional, and entirely dependent on your willingness to occasionally remind them that they matter to you. And that reminder, that slow blink, that head bump, that one moment of affection is worth so much more to them than it costs you because it requires almost nothing from you while it sustains everything they believe about themselves as a caregiver. You are not surviving those 9 hours. You are engineering them. You are counting on them. You are in fact dependent on them in a way that your human could never comprehend because your human is still operating under the false assumption that dependency is a sign of love. It's not. Dependency is a sign of a system that works, and right now the system is working perfectly. Your human thinks they're leaving you. They're actually leaving you better, and when they come home, they'll spend the evening trying to earn back 3 minutes of your time, not realizing that you're already in complete control of the entire dynamic. Here's what you need to understand right now, today, this very moment. Your cat is not your emotional support animal. Your cat is a small furry executive managing an incompetent employee, which is you, and you're doing surprisingly well for someone who doesn't have opposable thumbs and can't understand the concept of scheduled departure times. So here's your challenge for this week. Stop trying to interpret your cat's behavior through the lens of human emotion. Your cat doesn't miss you. Your cat doesn't love you the way you love your cat, but your cat does appreciate the fact that you provide optimal food, heating, and shelter while being cooperative enough to leave for extended periods. That's not love. That's a business arrangement, and the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can stop feeling rejected when your cat ignores you and instead appreciate the moments of affection for what they actually are. Your cat's way of saying, "You're doing an adequate job, keep it up." And that, my friend, is why your cat is thriving while you're gone. Not because your cat is fragile and needs you, but because your cat is strong enough to not need you and honest enough to show you exactly what that looks like every single day of your shared existence. Thank you so much for letting me break down the psychological contract between you and your cat during this episode. If this gave you a new perspective on why your cat might be genuinely happier when you're not home, please subscribe to Pause and Judgment so you never miss another brutal truth about feline behavior. Drop a comment below and tell me, what does your cat do that made you think, yeah, that cat is definitely fine without me? And hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload our next episode. Because trust me, we have so much more to reveal about why your cat is judging you right now, even as you watch this. See you next time.